Today is Sunday, June 16, 2024, and I'm saying this because 13 years ago, on June 16th, there was a big church service of celebration, and Reverend Hwisun Yunshik Park, Abraham Park, who had not fully recovered from colon cancer surgery, held a Thanksgiving service and began writing the History of Redemption series. And up until then, he had published up to book 6. And then afterwards, on December 19, 2012, he published volume 7 and up to 9, writing a total of 3 more books until he entered heaven. And exactly 3 years and 6 months after the restoration service, on December 17, 2014, he entered heaven. The title of the sermon at the time was God's Accurate Timetable. And the reason I'm saying this is when we take a look closely at what he spoke about, we can see that he has already talked about the cause and the reasons of the current problems in the church. A saint sent me this message early this morning, and it suddenly occurred to me that it had an important meaning. So I shared it briefly, and will share the grace of God's word about God's exact timetable later when I have the opportunity. Second, last May 26th, 2024, we observed the Lord's Day as General Mobilization Sunday, where all the saints came, and it was a Sunday service that had important meaning in the current confrontation with the breakaway side. As a result, about 300 more people came out than the previous Sunday, and what we are thankful for is that it has remained at that level since then. And thank you to all the saints for your hard work. However, one thing that needs to be pointed out is that the church surveyed attendance at General Mobilization Sunday in order to see the current online status of believers and the overall worship situation and the work conditions. And looking at the results posted by districts and departments, we were able to confirm that about 300 more people were reported than the actual attendance number. Whether accurate or not, this also means that 300 to 500 more people will need to attend church in the future and come out to church. And it's homework in a sense. It is true that the current church situation is uncomfortable in many ways because of the confrontational situation with the breakaway side and the doors, the gates being guarded. But the ultimate purpose of protecting the church's main gate and enduring the inconvenience is the restoration of worship. And what does this mean? The restoration of worship means that more believers come out on Lord's Days, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, public worship services, and come to Moriah Sanctuary to offer worship to God. And when you come out to church, come up to Moriah Sanctuary, so it'll be filled. And we must achieve this. Currently, we are waiting for the court's ruling, but I believe that God will bring that time forward when worship is restored and please God even more. June is the month of patriots and veterans, and in particular, this Thursday, we have invited Pastor Lee Ho to give a lecture titled The Korean War and the ROK-US Alliance, a Turning Point in World History. We are familiar with Pastor Lee Ho because he comes to our church often and that he can come whenever we ask, but it's not like that. He's actually a pastor who has a different perspective than our church, but it's very difficult for him to come, but he knows that our Pyungkang church is passionate about loving the country, and he schedules his time so he can come. And this Thursday, we are going to have him come. But even with the disruption from the breakaway side, not many saints are able to come out to worship service on Thursday, and we must at least show basic courtesy to our lecturer and all come out to Thursday service. And he goes to many places and he tells people about our church and the modern contemporary history of Korea series as well. So I hope that many saints will come out and show him what we can do, even in this midst of a difficult situation. Lastly, as you probably all know, the recent abnormal climate phenomenon around the world is something everyone is feeling and concerned about. And in the newspaper, it says that places in countries like Egypt, the temperature has risen to 50.9 degrees. And even in Korea, in June, the temperature is approaching the highest midsummer temperature. And this means that there's a problem with the Earth's climate system and it's hot. And when the rainy season begins, it may rain at an unbearable level. 2 years before, due to the current church situation, we were unable to prepare for the rainy season. And as a result, the Morai Sanctuary, the kindergarten building, and Joshua Sanctuary were flooded. Hundreds of saints came out in dawn, and we were able to restore it. But this must not happen in the future. So each department will need to manage and prepare to prevent flooding and take care of the sewage. And a few days ago, our church workers, and because Morai Sanctuary is 30 years old, there were leaks. And we are looking at it from many perspectives. So how can we prepare and fix these issues? And the church workers worked on it and a part of it for 3 days in the heat. And Elder Ko Jae-chun worked 3 days before his surgery to take care of this. So each department will need time and make decisions to prevent the flood and the rain. And what we are thankful for is yesterday on Saturday, about 30 members of the men's ministry, there's a large sewer in front of Jehoshaphat. And I'm sure some of you have been there, but they dug up 20 carloads of dirt. And the president of men's ministry sent me a picture, and the saints need to know what's going on in the church. So I would like to show you the photo. This is the sewer on the mountain. And that is the sewer in front of Jehoshaphat Sanctuary. So now it's clean. Let's give them a round of applause to thank them. Once again, thank you, men's ministry, for your hard work. They gather every Saturday to work for the church, and we really thank you. And the church is the body of God, so it's not the responsibility of a few people, but for all of us. And may we look and pay attention to our surroundings to protect and manage the church so that the church does not suffer any damage in the future. And I would like to conclude. Thank you.